But the Sensex did hit a record level of 63,588 in today's trading action. So that's the fresh peak that we are looking at. The mid-cap 100 index at record levels, the Nifty mid-cap 150 also at record levels, the small caps inching higher, 2.3% odd in trade. So it's all eyes on the Nifty now. That's the only one remaining to hit a fresh peak. It just came very, very close to those all-time high levels again today, but then we've seen some cool-off taking place. In terms of the other sectors, which are the sectors that are supporting the market sentiments in today's trading action? Let's look at that too. Now, in terms of the Nifty Bank, that's absolutely flat with some volatility being seen on the index right from the word go. There has been a very, very choppy trade for this index through the trading session. The FMCG stocks or sectors are not, is the sector which is not doing too well or participating in the rally today. We're seeing some of the other sectors that are in fact up in green. We're seeing financial services, for example, that's up and shining bright. PSU banks half odd percent up in trade as well. The oil and gas space is slightly up in trade. The pharma space also inching higher in trade. The media stocks are the ones that are taking away the limelight. 1% uptick for that one. The auto stocks are absolutely flat with a positive bias. The sectors that are not participating today, metals clearly down in trade, 1.15% down in trade. The realty stocks also down by 0.3% lower. Private banks also sulking in trade, and the FMCG stocks, like I talked about, also declining in trade. So it's a mixed trade as far as the sectors are concerned. But let's also look at the top gainers and the losers at this point in time. The Nifty gainers include a whole host of stocks, including from the HDFC basket, all three of them. So look at an HDFC, HDFC Life and HDFC Bank, all three of them participating in the market rally. So this heavyweight group is definitely aiding the sentiments for the markets today. Power Grid is up by 2.5%. Hero MotoCorp also inching higher by almost a percent. On the downside, you do have those metal counters like JSW Steel, Hindalco down in trade. You do have Apollo Hospitals, Axis Bank and M&M also trading down by almost a percent in today's trading action as well. But let's welcome our guest on the show. Rahul Shah joins in, Vice President Equity Advisory at Motilal Oswal Financial Services. Welcome, Rahul, and thank you so much for taking the time out for this discussion. So the Sensex has hit a fresh peak. We're just awaiting the Nifty to touch that magic number of 1 and 4 times 8 on the screens. When do you see that happening, and how is your outlook on the markets placed?
Hi, good afternoon. I think these are all just numbers, and I think whether it can happen today, tomorrow, or God knows. But I think it's surely that the markets are going to go much more higher from than what today what it's been trading at. I
Okay.
think the outlook remains very positive on the markets. If you look at, I think the macro things has been very well. If you look at Q4 numbers, or better than what the street was estimating in all the front. So I think two clear winners. What we can gauge from this thing is one was obviously the consumer demand coming back into it, the place of which was not there in Q3 numbers. So I think that's what we have been seeing. I think a lot of money which is from the investor side, from the FI flow has been moved to, I think, consumer discretionary spending, like something like auto stocks. The auto sector has done very well. Cement, secondly, I think we've seen that margin expansion coming up because the commodity prices falling. So that sector has seen very well in terms of most of the cement stocks. The large caps have moved up 10 to 15% in last month and a half or so. So I think that is one aspect of it. Thirdly, I think if you look at banking, except for HDFC Bank, which has been a laggard, the rest entire banking pack has done very well. So I think banking remains very first preference at this juncture as well, PSU as well as private banks. So I feel that banking space will continue to do well. 15% credit growth, which the most of the banks management is talking about. So I feel that overall outlook remains quite promising for the markets.
Okay, so the outlook remains quite positive for the markets going forward from here. How are you looking at the mid and the small cap space? Is this a space you're attractively looking at?
I think if you look at it, usually first is the large cap space starts moving in, and it's followed by mid caps. So I think after the decent and good numbers from Q4, we have seen re-rating buying into the entire mid cap segment, and as we see that the mid cap hittings, the and at 52-week high levels. So I feel that a lot of opportunity in a stock specific space, in a mid and small space, and I think there's a lot of action being happened over there. So I feel that one need to be very selective when the markets are just going higher and higher, wherever there's a valuation comfort and then a vision for the management where it's going to be the growth stories or XYZ. So I think overall the things remains very positive in the mid cap size also, but I think one needs to be very stock specific in that perspective.
Right. No, the very basic point that the investors may be watching out for, that as to what after the markets hit that magic number. We've seen that Sensex has already hit that number today, but will the party continue? And, how do you really maximize the kind of profits that you can really make in this kind of a market setup when the markets are already at record levels? What's the best strategy to adopt?
I think actually one thing is very clear, which I mentioned that I think the numbers, these are all numbers. Either it could be 18,900, 19,000 and so on and on. So I think obviously that boosts the positive sentiment on the broader side. So that is one part of it. But if we look at it, there has to be a stock specific approach rather than the index approach. So I think a lot of opportunity. As I mentioned, one clear thing that I think I give you an example of HDFC Bank, which has been a laggard. So if you look at last time when the markets hit 18,900 or so, or 18,888, if we talk about, and today, I think the stock has underperformed in a big way. So there's a lot of stocks. I'm just saying in a large caps, if you look at IT pack, the IT entire pack has underperformed. So I think select, I think as I mentioned, so there have to be a stock specific. So I think HDFC Twins looks good in that space. State Bank of India, I think, which has underperformed. If I look at it, I think the earnings have been quite strong for it. Select IT companies like Infi, TCS looks quite promising from here. So I think there has to be a stock specific approach from here rather than just looking at the index as a number.
Okay, understood that. Any particular stocks that have come onto your radar? Like talk about stocks like Tata Motors, for example. Is there still, steam left after these levels as well?
I think if you look at, I think two, three major things for Tata Motors. I think the Q4 numbers are very strong and blockbuster number. I think post that, I think we've seen the re-rating in the stock coming and stock has moved up. So that is one part of it. Secondly, I think their launches on a passenger vehicle side, other than the JLR side and the domestic markets, also on a EV space, it's remained quite predominant. And then three, four, five launches which they have talked about in next 2 years, which is one thing which is very positive on the Tata Motors side. Thirdly, I think commercial vehicle. I think entire market share was moved from Ashok Leyland, and also I think again they are back into that focus on the commercial vehicle side as well. And JLR any which way which we've seen that has been rocking. So entire all the spaces, I think Tata Motors looks interesting. And I think and one should not forget, I think post December, I think we've seen a month on month a strong monthly numbers for Tata Motors. In a GLR front as well as in this passenger vehicle space. So I feel that overall the trend remains positive. I feel that there could be another 15% upside from the current levels in a Tata Motors.
Okay. Rahul, one more thing that I wanted to discuss with you is that the monsoon picture still looks quite uncertain, and that is perhaps one big overhang that the markets and economists, all of them, are looking at very keenly at this point in time. Now, in case we do not see any bright signs of the progress of the monsoons as expected before, what could that mean for the markets at all-time high levels? Could we see severe profit booking after that if the monsoons don't come as expected?
I think yes, that could be one of the thing which can spoil the party right now is obviously the monsoon. So if the monsoon is delayed, then we are okay. But I think if there is a situation where it's a kind of drought-like situation, then I think yes, we can see that markets getting corrected from here, whatever it looks like. But I think it's too early to talk about it. We're just in the second week, so maybe I think a couple of more weeks we need to wait and then see if it's only how the progress of monsoon is across India. So I think that's important thing to look at it in next couple of weeks. And as you rightly pointed out, and if there is something delayed or there is could be a situation where there could be a drought-like situation, then we can see some sell-off happening in the markets.
Okay. Apart from this, I also wanted to discuss with you the defense theme, since that is in limelight because the Prime Minister is visiting the US and there are a number of deals that are expected to be announced, during his visit there. What could that mean for the defense pack? We've already seen a sharp run up. Many of these stocks are already at 52-week high levels. But even at these levels, with the kind of money that could be coming in and opportunities that could be, looking up for this sector, are there any bright spots that one can still look at investing in at these levels?
I think the defense as an entire theme has done very well in last year and a half. If you look at them, a lot of stocks have doubled or maybe more than doubled, and every time people thought about it, the stock has rallied. And I think we need to be very selective from here. From here onwards, the stocks have already rallied from here, but this theme will continue still for next 1 year or so. So the stocks like BL, what is our preference is BL, what we like in this space. That is number one preference. Then I think BDL, Bharat Dynamics is again our second company what we like. So I think this two stock remains a preferred bet. Obviously, other stocks will continue to do well, but I think this two will remain key for us in next couple of months.
Okay, understood that. What about the IT space? The street looks quite divided whether the space has bottomed out or not. What are your thoughts here?
I think IT space, if I have to look at it, then I think I would stick to large cap companies like TCS, Infosys. The valuations are comfortable at these levels, and I think the stock has been reasonably valued. And I don't think so any major sell off happening in these two companies. Mid cap companies, a lot of mid caps have rallied 30% from their lows. And I don't think so. There's a comfort in terms of they will continue to do well. It's not that, but my preference right now would be in a large space. So large space have underperformed. So I am more comfortable at Infosys and TCS at these levels.
Okay, understood that. Well, thank you so much, Rahul, for being with us on the show and
My
discussing so
pleasure.
many pockets with all our viewers. Well, right now the market's hovering about 150 points higher on the Sensex, 63,481. The Nifty is again inching back higher at 18,846. But will we see a sharper bounce in the last 1.5 hours of trade, just like how we had seen yesterday? It remains to be seen, and we'll keep an eye out on that. But it's the mid caps that are stealing the show, 1% up almost for this index as it climbs record levels yet again. So we'll continue to look at the market movement for you and track it for you. So do stay with us on Business Today TV. Don't forget to subscribe to this channel and also continue to engage with us on our other social media platforms as well. That's Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn and Instagram.